Hey everybody, Mikey Dread here, back with another installation of bowling science. Today, we're going to talk about layouts for bowlers who don't use a thumb hole. With the new USB-C rules, not allowing bowlers that don't use the thumb hole to have a thumb hole or weight hole anymore, we now have to account for that differently with how we do layouts. Let's take a look at what those look like today. First, let's talk about what does a hole do to a bowling ball. When you drill a hole into a bowling ball, especially when it intersects the core, you change the dynamic properties of that ball. With every hole you drill, the more you change the dynamic properties, and the bigger and deeper the hole, the bigger of an effect that hole has on the overall mass properties, also known as the differential, intermediate diff, and RG values of that drilled ball. Now, how that drilled ball rolls is what really matters. So, how you put the holes in the ball to intersect and interact with that core matters a great deal. Also, without a thumb hole, things get very different. The thumb hole is the largest, deepest hole allowed in your bowling ball, and therefore has the greatest effect on mass properties. Our layouts for no thumb bowlers take this into account. Let's see what those layouts look like. On paper, we use a more traditional system of creating the layout by listing the pin to PAP distance and the mass bias to PAP distance. Then we orient the pin in relation to the finger holes measured at those distances. So, as opposed to a traditional dual angle layout, which might look like 60 by 4 inches by 30, you'll see layouts that look more like 4 1/4 inches from pin to PAP, 5 1/2 inches from the PAP to the mass bias, with the pin an inch above the fingers. That's the kind of dialect that we use to talk about layouts for no thumb bowlers. Now, without a thumb in the ball, the PAP location of no thumb bowlers can vary greatly, normally much more so than with bowlers that use the fingers and the thumb. The vast range of PAPs available and possible for a two-handed bowler makes the layouts look very different depending on where your PAP is. We're going to show you now how to draw a layout on a ball for a no-thumb bowler. And then we're going to show what that layout looks like with two different possible PAPs. These axis points that we're going to use for our imaginary no-thumb bowler are 4 1/4 over by 2 inches up and 5 inches over by 2 inches down. Both of those PAPs are within the normal spectrum for no-thumb bowlers, so we're going to see what the same layout looks like on both those balls. The layout we'll be using is 4 1/2 inches from pin to PAP, 5 1/2 inches from PAP to mass bias, with the pin 1.5 inches above the ring finger. Let's take a look at that. So as you can see, the same layout for two different no-thumb bowlers can look vastly different on the same ball. Keep this in mind as we begin to talk about how to lay out bowling balls for no-thumbers. I appreciate your time here on Bowling Science, and we'll catch you next time.